and welcome to whatever this is.
Sorry.
Borat.
Not even titled yet.
Get out of here.
My name is Connor Dodge. I am joined by two, I have to say, amazing people. Why don't you introduce yourselves?
Yeah.
You can decide who.
Would you like to go?
I'll be the third guy.
Okay. Yeah, I'm Tin and Green. So good luck finding that on social media or anything.
Yeah. Hey, I'm Patrick. I'm not going to say my second name. Hey. So
she's off the grid.
He's off the. Yeah, I don't want them to track me down because I'm a.
He's been on the run for 10 years already.
I've been on the run. Not because I need to go to prison. It's been a weight plan. I just haven't stopped running for 10 years.
Like Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
It's pretty surprising we actually got to sit down for this podcast. So.
Yeah.
Run, Patrick, run.
And the rest is history.
Or her story.
Yeah.
We're not.
God. Ghostbusters.
So anyway, the aim, I guess, of this podcast, we have to call it,
loosely
term, is to talk about film, TV, the media in general, the goings-ons, the reviews, the thoughts, the feelings, the taste, the smell. Yeah. So I think the talk of the town, the big movie of this sort of season of winter/autumn, because it was a while back now. The big talk is of the Thor Ragnarok, the third installment in the Thor saga. The trilogy, you could call it.
The trilogy of Thors.
Yes. I mean, there's like 1,500 Marvel films, but in Thor terms,
in Thor
years, these like dog years. Yeah. Well, how does a Marvel timeline work again? By the way, it's
fucking confusing.
Isn't it like stage 1 to stage?
I don't know.
This is what, stage 3 or 4?
Yeah, it's like stage 3 or 4.
We're in 3.
Stage 3.
Yeah.
And then they're going to get Gauntlet Guy for the next stage.
Gauntlet Guy's my jab.
So when does Wonder Woman come into the mix? Sorry, DC fans.
When a universe stops sucking.
Yeah. Hey, you know what I'm sucking?
What?
The life out of the people who are listening. So I'll try and shut up now.
Anyway, Thor 3. General thoughts on the film.
Well, I think we all enjoyed it. It's a Marvel film, so it's usually it's going to be okay at best for everyone.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah,
like you go in with an expectation.
Yeah, but I feel like I like the direction better with the director. I can't actually pronounce his name.
Yeah, Taika Waititi, I think it is, and I think it is. I know it is. Okay.
Yeah.
And like somebody actually did my fucking research, research.
I knew his name. I just can't pronounce it.
Yeah, I mean, with Marvel movies, it's like. It's not McDonald's, it's like Burger King. Like, you know what you're going to get. You don't go there as often as McDonald's, you go there every couple of months. I don't even go to Burger King that much. Like, it's...
Yeah, you sit down and you go, I'm going to be entertained for the next, 2 and a bit hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You know that there's going to be something there that you're going to like.
Yeah.
No matter what.
It's probably not Oscar winning.
I'm not going to rewatch, but I'm going to enjoy it.
Everyone's like, Thor 3, I think... I put it as a colourful cosmic adventure.
That's going
to be on the DVD, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's going to be on.
That's the tagline.
It's a very bright film.
Yeah,
it's very trippy.
Very. Yeah. It's almost like a self-spoof of the previous Thor film.
That's what I thought as well. I thought Taika Waititi did a really good job considering it was weird having a film that felt like a Taika Waititi sort of dry film that was a lot more reliant on language. I mean, there was beautiful visuals in it. What's the name of the rock character? Korg, that's it.
Korg.
Yeah, he was the best character in the entire film because he sort of brought something refreshing. It was more based on dialogue and how the characters speak, which is what I really like, and it sort of differentiates the comedy from Guardians of the Galaxy, which is all a bit out there. Which I loved watching the first time, Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Second time I watched it at home, I was just like. I think Spider-Man was a better film. Guardians of the Galaxy was definitely funnier, is what I'll say. And groovier, but like you could put anything with like a soundtrack, like and the whole dad thing. Everyone said like people say, well, I actually felt for Peter, like maybe the first time, because his dad, spoiler alert, his dad's a traitor at the end of the film.
I think everyone's watched Guardians of the Galaxy 2 by now.
That's not, everyone's acting like that's a big emotional surprise, and maybe like the first time you watch it you feel that, but afterwards you suddenly realise that's basically from everything that their dad's a traitor type of thing, like it's nothing new.
I know.
I like the Yondu thing at the end.
The Yondu thing was nice.
Mary Poppins.
But back to the Thor 3 before we go off into other Marvel films. I agree about the comedy. Yeah. Like, it's very... Because I've seen other films by Taika Waititi. Did I get it? Waititi.
I call him Taika Waititi. I don't know. I've always read his name, but now he's become more of a visual thing for me.
He's got very... I've seen his other films like...
I do love... I'm saying
What We Do in the Shadows and Hunt for the Wilder People. He's got that very kind of anti-comedic humour in it, which I like that he brought into it with Korg.
Yeah, and Flight of the Conchords, one of the greatest series of all time.
Yeah, he was very much like the vocal comedy with his character. Like the director was actual comedy in the film, which was good.
I'm glad they let him.
I like they made it a quite light for quite a it's the end of Asgard kind of thing, but they made it quite.
Yeah, it was better
because I didn't really like how dramatic it. Like Thor 2, I didn't like at all.
I
haven't seen Thor 2. That's the only.
Well, I don't really
blame you. It's quite dramatic for no reason.
I know Chris has a cameo.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Hela being the big baddie, and also being the long lost sister.
Hela.
I mean, it was an okay tie-in and all that, but. She was meant to be like the goddess of death or whatever. Yeah. Yet, I think there was a lot of hype there and not enough substance.
But we're all going to die eventually. Like, that's not a big impressive thing. Like, I'm the goddess of death. Well,
like she just shot swords at
people.
9
years.
I mean, she was killing. She got the death bit.
She killed like all those Asgardian.
Oh yeah, because I went for a classic Wii as well in the middle of the thing. So did she? I'm not sure. Maybe didn't she? Did she kill the Zachary Levi guys?
Yeah, she killed the Warriors 3. I think it is.
Yeah.
Which was a bit shit because I thought because you had the big kind of there were quite big characters in 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And then it was just kind of quick death. Like
maybe they'll come back.
You don't even realise it was them.
Who are you? And then it's like bam, dead.
Yeah.
To be fair, though, Zachary Levi's isn't he playing? I really wonder if I'm getting it right. He's playing Shazam in the DC universe now. I don't know.
I haven't looked into Shazam.
He was essentially like a sitcom actor. Like, I'm glad he's good. He was in Alvin and the Chipmunks too as the dude in that.
Well, it's a step up at least.
No, it's a step down in my eyes. But there's Rachel House. I think she's the lady from Hunt for the Wilder People, and she's the the No Child Gets Left Behind lady.
Yeah.
And she was also the grandma in Moana. She had a role in this film playing Topaz.
The grandma's henchman.
Yeah. That sounds like tapas. So
tapas, yeah.
Like she's like really like food. Yeah. So if you're getting hungry, remember to bring some food when you go to the cinema.
Especially tapas.
Yeah. So was there anything people had?
The Matt Damon thing was
something to pick about the film.
I
liked it, but I read
brought you out.
Yeah. I read the Wikipedia beforehand of the cast because I wanted to see who Clancy Brown was playing. So I knew about the Sam Neill and Matt Damon part. And it was Luke Hemsworth as the brother, right? The one from Westworld. Yeah. So, which is... But he was... that whole cameo scene was really wing, wing, nudge, nudge. And it was fine because they didn't do any more of it throughout the entire film.
Yeah.
I really like the Clancy Brown as the... what was the name of the character he played who came back at the end? That was a bit of a weird thing,
I can't remember.
I think that's the thing I would pick with it as well. As much as I like that character and I love Clancy Brown, I just kept thinking it was Mr. Krabs throughout the entire thing. He's in Shawshank Redemption as well, which is a film I've never properly seen, which I hear is really good. Yeah, I know like all the references and stuff to it.
Okay. Well, that's what you need.
Yeah. Now you need to go away and watch Shawshank Redemption.
Okay,
that's
I'm going to carry on running
Game of Thrones as well.
Guys, I've been running for 10 years. Okay,
we cannot continue until you've watched it. So
sorry. Well, I'll leave and I'll come back. Hey guys, well, it is a great film. I enjoyed it. So, his character, whoever it was,
the devil guy.
The devil guy.
It's like kind of a.
I'm trying to look for it. I'm looking at the name. Surtur or something. He comes up at the start and he comes up at the end.
Yeah.
Now, it might have been a bit lazy, but if they develop that character a bit more.
Yeah,
it would have made a lot more. It wasn't as intense. Yeah,
setup and payoff.
It's like if, like in the Indiana Jones,
it was kind of a Chekhov's gun, really.
Yeah.
But that was like, oh, he's going to bring about the end of Asgard, but you know.
Yeah, like halfway through you made the link. Like, as soon as he put like the skull down, it's like, Hela draws power from Asgard. It's like, oh well.
It's like if like
what's gonna happen? Yeah.
You know, at the start of like Indiana Jones movies or whatever, they always have like an adventure at the start. Has nothing to do with the rest of the film. It's like if they bought like one of like the rolling boulders at the start of the film at the end, like, hey, thank you, Boulder, for coming out of nowhere. Like, oh boy, I just don't know anymore. But that being said, I'm underselling the film. I really liked it. For a guy who hasn't, I haven't always liked superhero films, but like I've grown to really, really like them in recent years.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're as amazing as people seem to overstate them. But if you think they're amazing, then that's great, because like that's your thing.
I feel like I kind of like the direction. I feel like it should be like Thor 3 now. Like it should be
exactly.
You give more power to the directors rather than the producers.
True to the comic book.
Because we've had so many where it's like, okay, well, there's a sky beam, it's shooting in the sky, it's going to do something to the world. Oh, they took down the sky beam, and that's it. And then we wait till the next one.
Yeah. We'll give our final verdict on Thor.
Yeah, give like a rating out. Do we want to do out of 10 or out of 12 for bonus points?
We can all say, we'll all do our own rating system. So.
Yeah, just to confuse
you go with whoever you most prefer.
I found, what was it? When they were on Sakaar, it was great and it was colourful, it was funny. And then when they kind of went back to Asgard, like every once in a while, even though the scenes were like 2 minutes, it just felt like a pause. Like you just paused the film for a while, then went right back into it. I don't know, I didn't like it. Kind of, it was like sucked, really, for me. I found it.
Do you want to give a verdict?
You want me to? Okay, yeah.
That's a beautiful summary, though.
Thank you.
It made it so summary is so close to autumn.
Well, I like Jeff Goldblum. I like the funny. I like it was colourful and funny. I'll say funny again. Funny. I'll give it a funny out of 10.
It sounds like you were talking about like you were looking for someone on one of those dating profile websites.
Yeah, I know. I was
I'm
really
someone
they were handsome, funny.
Well, I was going to say, I'll give it...
You're on your trailer Thor.
10 Thors out of 5 The Dark Worlds out of 6.
I haven't even seen
Ragnarok.
You haven't seen it.
After 200 Avengers 2's The Squeakquel. I honestly just really enjoyed the film, and it was a fun time. So I give it a good 7 out of 10 from where I'm standing now at this point in time. That can completely change. I really like the directing, I really like the new tone, and it shows promise for what's ahead. It's probably, like I said before, Guardians of the Galaxy was a funny film. Spider-Man was a good, wholesome, better film with a good twist. One good twist, basically. That one at the end. But and then this one. This hasn't been disappointing for Marvel films. Like they're just Marvel films. They're not as amazing as people say they are, in my opinion. That's my opinion, guys.
We can't get controversial
opinion
right
alert.
now.
Yeah,
We've got
opinion alert.
Opinion alert.
Woo, that's going to be a jingle for that.
Opinion alert. Opinion alert.
So yeah, I that's my opinion on it.
Great.
Yeah, so now it's your turn to verdict.
Well, the film is very funny. I like the director is like the comedic value. It's his input on the film. I feel like it's a merge of sort of like the first Thor film and the first Guardians of the Galaxy. Like I feel like it's like a combination of those. It's like the film baby of that.
Yeah.
And like Tiernan said, it's like the Asgard aspects feel like something's missing, seen as like the funny part of the films and the most interesting bits are all set off of Asgard.
And Asgard just feels smaller than it usually does.
It did, yeah. It felt like a little.
It was like Discworld.
Yeah, it really did. It felt like a little plate.
I know they filmed this one in like Australia and New Zealand. I know there's a part in New York with Doctor Strange, but they filmed it Australia and New Zealand. Do you think it had something to do with being on a different set?
No,
I don't know. They got Matt Damon. They wouldn't have just flown him all the way to New Zealand for that one.
Unless he was just hanging about there already.
I'd give it a good 8 out of 10 with one bonus Mjolnir for that.
We want to take over TT's cinematic universe with the Hunt for the Wilder People and what we do.
Although the cosmic world building was good because we got a bit more with Guardians 2,
but
not a lot. And then we got
we've been watching recently, or that's caught
I didn't really have anything. I've watched When Harry Met Sally, but all I can think of is just it was quite a good film. That's all I really want to say about it.
Where that was based on holiday. Yeah, and I was like, it's the deli from When Harry Met Sally, and then Billy Crystal's ghost was there, and I was like, rest in peace.
I think he's still alive. He's just
he died on the set of Monsters University. Did you hear about that?
God.
I watched
on set.
I watched Death of Stalin as well.
Oh, nice!
Recently, I went in. It was just me in the fucking theater as well. Yeah,
I
no one else. I think maybe like an old guy.
I thought it would have been more popular.
It's a very funny film, but I don't think there was a lot of press really here. There was like.
No.
It was a limited time thing. A lot of good films, I don't think they care about press anymore. I think a lot of films would rather like have just you in a theater in an afternoon. Than being on Netflix, because have you noticed how this is going to be a whole thing, I'm sorry, have you noticed how whenever Amazon buys like a film from Sundance or whatever, they'll give it like a big release like they did with Manchester by the Sea or The Big Sick or whatever like that, and they'll give it quite a modest wide release and that's great when Netflix do, but when they do that they bring the Amazon release it way before they put it on Amazon Prime, and I think that's the way to go, because then people are still going to see it in the movie.
But I found that Amazon does it a lot better than Netflix, because they had
they just release it all at once.
Was it OK Jar or something like that?
Yes,
when that came out in the cinema, it was out for about a week. It stopped, and then like The Big Sick, when that came out, that was out for a good fucking month.
And the thing is, the reason why I think as well, because they knew they were going to do bad with ticket sales like they've done with their past films, because you don't release it the same time you put it on your streaming service.
Exactly.
That's a stupido move. I don't know who thought that was a good idea. I know they're thinking, trying to test out to see if it's the future,
but it didn't work.
I don't know. But there's a lot of good films that came out of Sundance this year. The Big Sick is my favourite film of the year.
I still want to see it.
I've bought it on DVD. I'll let you borrow it one day if you want.
You gem. Thank you very much.
And The Holograms, not a very good film.
Death of Stalin was. I found it's a funny film when you watch it, but because I feel like if I did history, or if I knew more about Soviet Russia, I would have found it a lot funnier than I did, kind of thing.
Hell yeah.
But it was still quite a funny film.
I agree.
That's basically it. I don't watch anything else. What do you watch?
I watched that was quite a while ago, Big Mouth, and it has, I think it's got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, something
doesn't deserve it, but it's not quite as bad as
like
people are saying it is. A lot of the criticism is coming from, well, first of all, a lot of people are saying like, oh, but it's children, it's gross that they're doing all this. It's not. In context of the program, it's a hard thing to sell. First of all, in the context of the program, it's pretty funny and pretty delightful and pretty relatable. There's, but the only thing is that like I Hate Everything dropped a massive video on this yesterday.
Yeah, I did see that today.
The structure of the universe in the program is very Family Guy-y, but I think it's just a few tiers above Family Guy in terms of what it actually is. Like a lot of people are criticizing they don't sound like children, and South Park is a better show to do something like
this.
And this program is just finding its feet, and South Park started off with a lot of gross out humor, and there's a lot of concepts in Big Mouth that I feel, when I think of the program, I think of potential. Basically, I think that it can go different ways, and a lot of the criticism as well is that the logic of the program. There's a lot of these side characters. Basically, there's a hormone monster for the boys and a hormone monstress for the girls. And they basically make them they talk about puberty with them.
Yeah.
But also, a lot of the other people sometimes see the hormone monster or sometimes don't see the hormone. Like sometimes other people hear Stewie talk.
Yeah.
And so it's basically the same problem as that.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people seem to have a real issue with that. But, you're a fan of like Comedy Bang Bang or something like that. If you don't mind the irrelevance, which a lot of people seem to think, oh, it's just lazy writing. That could be the case some of the times, but that's not the main focus here. But a lot of I've read a lot of the negative things and listened to what a lot of people have had to say, and I agree with some of the program being a bit boring. and a lot of the stories it's telling is like, yeah, we've seen this before. We've been through this puberty. Why do we need to be reminded of it? I think it's just nice to know like a lot of different people, because it's based off Nickel's life, have been through the same things as you as well. And a lot of it is definitely, I remember that.
Yeah.
And it's more observations than jokes in some cases. But as the characters tend to grow, a lot of people don't like the characters, but as they sort of tend to flesh into their personalities and you get to know the characters a lot more, then you're like, oh, so it's this now and it's this, and you learn a lot more about the characters. I don't know. It's basically, I can see why people hate it, I can see why people love it. Yeah. I really enjoyed it. But I'm not going to defend it if someone really, really hates it, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I mean, I think you can justify the gross out kind of humour. Not some of it. Like, I agree with the pillow stuff.
Yeah.
I found very weird.
Yeah,
I don't
I heard about that.
Yeah, the pillow shit's kind of...
Pillow had
a lot of people really like that episode, though. Like, for some reason.
As like a kind of offhand joke, that would have been funnier. And then like
if they too long ago. Yeah, I thought so too. And the whole episode, the whole thing of let's have sex with everything got old real fast.
Yeah.
And I don't even think I found that funny to begin with.
I get the hormone monster kind of thing. It's like that kind of thing in the back of your head. It's that kind of thing that wants to keep thinking about sex.
A character that a lot of people don't like, which I absolutely adored, is the Coach Steve guy, who's really, really, the really, really like, I absolutely love that. But like, if you like, Nick Kroll did a voice for anything. And Nick Kroll, there's you got to give him credit for his voice work.
But it was kind of, I did get the whole thing. It did get old every once in a while, kind of thing. But
I agree, and I think it got a lot of people who work on the show are like a lot really pally and stuff like that. So maybe if something gone wrong, they wouldn't point it out. They'd just be like, "Oh, that's funny, dude." But I loved like every single person on it. So like, what am I? Who am I to talk?
And then and then the gross out humour is justifiable because it's a show about puberty.
Another thing that's criticised as well is they would break the fourth wall a lot, and listen, it can do that, but it sort of did it a few too many times. But at the same time, it kind of works for it, even if it has gone on too many times. And I also think that if you're a 13-year-old watching this program, going through puberty or about to live through these things, it's nice to know, like, oh, this is like me. Like, I used to really dig Diary of a Wimpy Kid and things like that. This is basically a more cruder version for the next generation of kids, because a lot of the sex jokes really appeals for them, and a lot of the criticism is, who is this really for? I'm guessing it's just for fans of people who like comedy or just want an easy watch. And for people who are the sort of little Family Guy kids. Sorry, that sounds... You know what I mean? There's like the 14-year-old kids who shouldn't be watching programs for 15-year-olds.
Basically,
I mean, I only watched a couple of the trailers and did a bit of reading up on it because I knew you had watched it and I'd seen your Twitter about it, so I thought it would be a good thing to raise. So I did a bit of extra reading into it. And the big things that people say about it is like, it just does what things like South Park or Family Guy or BoJack Horseman have done before, but just in a different way.
And I think people should stop comparing it to BoJack Horseman.
BoJack Horseman.
That's another tier. That's just a really well-written program.
Family Guy and South Park and South Park definitely.
It's like in one place, and then
I think it's just ahead of Family Guy, but nowhere near close to South Park. But I don't think they want to be that. I think they're trying to flesh into their own. I've used the word flesh like a million times. They're trying to be built into like their own sort of thing, and that's cool. And I really respect them for that. And I guess it's just a matter of waiting to see what they do with it. Character designs is another thing that people hated, and I have a huge...
The name of the show is...
Big Mouth.
Yeah, it gives it away.
Everyone
funny joke.
Yeah, and everyone seems to... You saw the I Hate Everything video, did you?
I've not seen all of it.
He talks about how they address the Big Mouth. He doesn't like looking at them. And I agree, like... Some
he doesn't like looking at them.
Yeah, that's one of his criticisms, but he goes into more depth, to be fair, about why...
I feel like, I don't know, I didn't have a problem with the character design.
Same, I
found that there's shows that are uglier.
Yeah.
I mean, when you first see it, it's like, okay, this is what they're going with.
Yeah.
A lot of people always complain about how like characters like Bob's Burgers and BoJack Horseman. I've seen tweets from people saying things like, "Oh yeah, but it's so sad that programs are really great writing have to have horrible character animation." Like, no, I think that stuff is beautiful. It's just you've got to get used to it. Yeah.
Sorry.
Nice one. If you don't make your characters look distinctive and a bit ugly, you're going to be looking like Family Guy. I mean, a lot of people say this is a problem with modern cartoons, but this has been a problem for...
Isn't it like the same animation style as Family Guy?
It's not. It's a bit different. I mean, it's the same sort of pacing. It's not like they don't stretch themselves to do new different things. Like they don't go off model. Yeah. They don't go off model, which is a bit of a pain. But like it is a bit more distinctive from other things. Like a lot of people saying it's too ugly. A lot of people say it looks just like Family Guy and Bitmoji's had a love child. I read that somewhere. But I think they're trying to find their own unique style. I can see that. And a lot of programs get criticised these days. Like a lot of modern cartoons saying, "Oh, they're all ugly," or "They all what? Do you want them all to look like Adventure Time?"
Yeah, I feel like the thing is you need a kind of a different kind of style for a cartoon. It's the only thing that works.
And people say this is a modern problem, and I'm like, no. Going back to Ed, Edd and Eddy and all those things, and most of all, the one that started this new age of modern cartoons, those Simpsons Tracy Ullman shorts.
Yeah,
people have like their profile pictures of ugly Bar Simpson doing the face things. So I think people are just grasping for straws there. If you don't like it and you don't look at it, great. But don't say that's like a problem just now, because that's been a thing for years. And I don't even think it's a problem. I really like how distinctive cartoons look. Anyway.
Well,
the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade is happening today. This is the Thanksgiving themed episode. What are you thankful for, guys?
Oh God,
Connor, what are you thankful? Can we cut the apart?
Yeah, we can,
because I really want to work for. I don't know enough about it, but I respect all the women.
I'll just stop it in.
Hey guys, welcome back. Obviously, we've cut a part out, but. As I was saying, it's the Thanksgiving episode, and we're going to say what we're thankful for now.
I did. I'm out.
And Tier's going to say what Tier's thankful that he's gay because he's out. Okay, Connor, what are you thankful for? And don't you dare say
So yeah, I think that's enough for this week or this episode.
We're gonna get better at this. I think.
Yeah, we'll have various subjects to talk about. We won't just talk about Big Mouth and Drake and Josh.
We're talking about Big Mouth next week.
So yeah, we plan to do.
We went in this with a Thor discussion that went over.
Shall we talk about trailers real quick and then sort of finish it
trailers?
Off? Yeah, trailers, because there's different trailers. We call movie clips.
I was just basically going to say that in later episodes we might have guests in. Also, when people start actually listening.
Yeah, that's what people do with their ears.
Audio
Tin has ears. So sorry.
Oh no.
Carry on.
Yeah, so when people start listening, we might take questions or discussion points that people ask us to do in December. This has been quite something. I think we can all agree on that.
We won't do the rap again. We won't do any sort of rap again.
We apologise for the last however long this episode is.
Yeah, we're going to cut out the rap part.
And it's cut down to a good 10 minutes of quality.
Yeah, I'll cut out all the guff and it'll be like, oh, there's only 5 minutes of recording.
And it's just you saying Drake and Josh at one point in the middle of the podcast.
It's just all the Drake and Josh stuff. So yeah, thank you for listening. If there is anyone listening, please God,
follow us online, but follow Tim in real life.
Yeah, we'll put links.